My name is Jennifer Silva. I am currently a member of the Granby Board of Selectmen. I was elected in 2019 and I am up for re-election this year. I'm 45 years old. I live in town with my husband and my 2 children, one of whom attends McDuffie and one of them who attends Granby Public Schools. I have enjoyed being a select board member immensely. I have learned so much about what goes on behind the scenes, and I hope to be doing it again for the next 3 years. I want to run again because there are things left undone. We have a lot of things in the fire right now that I'd like to see through till the very end. There are some things that I think it would be beneficial to have someone who has the backstory and who has been dealing with it on a regular basis. And let's face it, COVID put a damper on a lot of things. There were some projects that were high on my list of priorities that we weren't able to get done due to things shutting down, lack of materials, things like that. And I'd like to make sure that we get those up and running and finished, or at least started in the right direction to being finished, because we tend to leave a lot of things unfinished here in town. Well, first I'd like to say the high school is already a great place for learning. The building does not make the teachers, and we have some excellent teachers in our building. That being said, we do need desperately a new building so that we can become up to current educational standards. There are things that are currently happening. A statement of interest was already presented by the school. The current select board fully supports the situation, and we stand behind the school doing what needs to be done. We also understand that we have to balance what the town needs versus what the town can afford. A new high school is going to cost us a pretty penny, but I definitely think that it is an investment that we should be making. And there's a saying, if you build it, they will come. It was proven when we built East Meadow. More students enrolled, and I think that a new building will help us retain students, because we will have those educational opportunities that aren't available in the building that we currently have. It is not going to be a quick and easy process. From my understanding, we could be 5 to 7 years out from a new building, or even a refurbished building, if that's the way it ends up going. But I think we will get there. I hope people realize the importance of having a modern facility so that our students have the best educational equipment. The teachers are there, and the teachers are great, and they can only be better with the right tools. Some of the biggest issues currently facing the town of Granby. I would say one of the very biggest issues facing the town of Granby is not exactly apathy, but a lack of interaction. We see the same 150 people at town meeting year after year after year. So decisions are being made for a whole town based on a very small population, and I'd like to see that change. I'd like to see more people take an interest in government by serving on committees and boards, and I understand it's a completely thankless job, but it's an important job, and the more different people that we have on these boards and committees, the better off the community will be in the long run, because we will then be serving the broader population instead of just a small select few. Other needs we have are infrastructure. You know, some of our buildings are outdated. They're old, they're cramped. West Street is a perfect example. Right now it's sitting there and it's an eyesore, and I think that we could utilize the building to make a better space for the residents of Granby. We could put all of our town offices into one building. We could include the superintendent, so now we have our entire team in one spot. We could put a community center in there. The possibilities are endless, and that actually is one of the things that we are pro for doing something with that site. Well, I've actually been in the position of hiring 2 department heads at this point. The first was a very easy process. We had a wonderful in-house candidate. So the process was there and we went through it and we explored our options for outside people as well. But when it came down to it, the best person for that candidate was currently inside. The second hiring, I think we could have done things differently. We banked on the fact that we had an easy time of hiring our police chief. So when it came to our fire chief, I think I felt that we were capable of it, and it wasn't until the very end that I came to understand that I did not have the full knowledge. Even with a wonderful committee behind us doing the groundwork, we still didn't have a full knowledge of what the position entails on a day-to-day basis, boots on the ground type of thing. So I think that it's very important for whoever is in charge of hiring to know what avenues are open to us, whether it's an outside company, whether it's making the decision based solely on professional experience that we would gain hopefully from our committees. It's not an easy process. It's definitely not an easy thing because our department heads are with us for quite a while, as we can see. We've been very fortunate in that we haven't had very high turnover in our department heads. And it's hard to replace those people because the institutional knowledge is there and we will be lost without it. Well, first I want to start off by saying that yes, the 202 project did fall through, but we're not completely out of possibilities. We do have the potential possibility to join the Mass Water Resource Association, which means we would get our water straight from the reservoirs. It's a lot of infrastructure, and it's not a quick project. That would be 10 plus years in the making to service the entire town. But that option is still on the table for us, and it's something that we are going to explore. I think we would also benefit from creating a sewer infrastructure. We have a rising water table, so septic systems and leach fields have the potential to fail. I would love to see us find a way to create a small business district where we could incorporate residential and business, sort of like they have in the Commons. I think that would be a great way to utilize space. It's just a matter of zoning regulations and available space. One would be the high school. That is, I think, our top priority at this point. Our second being water and sewer. Those 3 things together would definitely make us more attractive to outsiders coming in. I would like to see our trash improve. We have had great improvements since our last board meeting when we discussed it with waste management, but there are still some slight issues that are going on. And I know that it'll never be seamless, but the amount of litter that we're finding on the roads, and the Keep Granby Beautiful group has done an amazing job this past week picking up all that litter, but it's sad that they have to be out there doing that. I would also like to see a community compost area, where we can then basically minimize the amount of trash that we are throwing out, because trash prices are increasing, recycling prices are increasing, and the more that we can keep out of landfills and put back into our gardens, the better off we're going to be. Well, I think that's a great question. Building relationships with the community is extremely important to me, and it should be important to anybody. I build those by always being available. I have community members that instant message me, that text me, they've gotten my number from somebody, and I do my best to respond even if I don't have an answer for them. I meet with some residents quarterly to discuss things that are going on, projects that are close to their heart, and see if I can help, how I can help. I serve on various committees. I serve as the clerk here at GCAM, so I help make sure that everybody out there watching can continue to watch the wonderful work you do. I serve on the Friends of Granby Parks and Rec, where we're hoping to start building up again, so we can help the town take some of that burden from maintaining things financially. And I honestly think it's just a matter of being open and available. And there's no question that's wrong, and there's no question that's stupid, and there's no idea that's too far-fetched. I mean, it may just be the jumping ground that we need. Unfortunately, I envision it looking very similar to the way it looks now. And that's not due to lack of doing anything, it's due to the lack of, I learned how slow politics works. When I first got elected, I had very big dreams on how fast that we could make things happen. And I've learned that government doesn't run fast. Between bidding out on projects, putting together proposals for projects, what I had hoped or what I had naively thought would take a matter of months could be years. The 202 project is a prime example of that. It was supposed to be done last year, and it's not even halfway done. So I envision, in a perfect world, I envision that we will be very much where we are now, but with our path clearly marked. Well, that's easy. I currently do it right now. None of the boards or committees that I serve on directly report to the select board, so I don't have a conflict of interest there. And I don't envision myself joining any that do. I would love to see other people join those committees, but I don't envision myself doing the same if I were reelected. If I were not reelected, I would probably be interested in one or two of those committees. There's always something in town that needs to be done, and there's always a place that you can serve. In a town this small, it's very hard to avoid conflict of interest in some situations, which is why every year at town meeting, we actually ask our voters to allow us to have a Board of Selectmen member on a committee that may report to us. And legally, that covers everybody. I would continue to serve the community just as I do now. I would continue working with GCAM. I would continue working with the Friends of Granby Parks and Rec. I would, again, probably show some interest in some other committees that are under the Board of Selectmen. Like I said, there's plenty of things for me to do, and I intend to do them. Well, first, I want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who has allowed me the past 3 years. It has been a wonderful learning experience. That first year is always a little dicey as you learn the ropes. And I hope to be able to continue for the next 3 years. We do have a lot of things in the works between Forge Pond, Dufresne's, the water project. Earlier, last year actually, when I became chair, I had asked the rest of the board for their wish list of things that they would like to see accomplished. And we're slowly working towards achieving some of those. Some will take longer. Again, like I said, the wheels of government do turn slowly, but I think we'll get there. Most of all, I'd like to ask everybody that's out there to come to town meeting. Your vote really does count. Come to elections. Without us being involved in the process, there is no process, and we do have the purest form of government in terms of, in our case, every single vote does count. Thank you to those that are involved. Thank you to those that want to be involved but aren't really sure how to go about it. Thank you to the various groups in town that make our job easier. Thank you to GCAM for hosting this and for all the work that you've done between broadcasting school sports, the crazy schedule you have with all of the town committee meetings. It's not just us that are there late at night. You guys tend to spend even more time between setup and takedown. So yes, just thank you. And I hope it continues. I hope that it continues with me sitting on the board. But even if it doesn't, I am very appreciative of the chance that I've been given.